Been a little bit. Been a couple of days. My goodness. We got a lot to talk about today. We're packing it all in. We got a lot of topics. Some tech stuff. Some interesting stuff. Some fun stuff at the end. That's how I normally do it.
Sure.
It's there's a variety of acts. It's kind of like it's like a Shakespeare type thing we got going on, you know, act 1, act 2.
Mm-hmm. And it's in Roman numerals.
You even got a wild card today!
I do, yes.
Which is, man.
It's a fun one, I think.
The anticipation is real over here. As they say, as I've just said, so many people asked for it and the people got it. We're going to kick it off with a story about some AirPods Pro. Apparently, Apple is working on getting rid of the iconic stem design. That's the little piece that comes down. Some people joked early on it was like a little toothbrush. Now, they shrunk the stem on the Pro model from the non-Pro version. And recently, we talked about it here on this show, Mr. LeBron James was spotted. That's what happens when you're a celebrity, Will. You'll never know something like this.
No.
You get spotted. It's like he was spotted. But LeBron James wasn't even really spotted because he just posted a photo on his own Instagram having been spotted by a photographer. How did he get his hands on that picture? Interesting. He just copy and paste it? You know what I mean? The photographer takes the photo of him on the way into the game. He just do a quick copy paste? I guess so.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Anyway, so he had on these unreleased earbuds, and he's had this deal with Beats in the past. And Beats has up until this point, up until that pair, which he presumably leaked, but it's not really a leak because it's obvious that it's intentional. But anyway, up until that pair, they never had a full, like, minimal in-ear design without any type of ear hook or anything like that. And so it does have a little grip tab on it by the looks of it, but the whole thing is enclosed in the ear and there's definitely no stem. Now, presumably with the Beats brand, you would take this headphone that he was wearing and you would implement a similar setup for an Apple product. Like, why should the Apple's own product, they own Beats, obviously, why should their own product have this stem on it and then they're selling simultaneously this Beats product, which doesn't need it and looks like it's much smaller when it sits in there? So the thinking here, or the speculation, is that actually the next generation AirPods Pro is going to take its inspiration from this particular design. This may be our first glance at not just the Beats product, but also the AirPods Pro of the future. Now, the important part here is that apparently this is not happening super soon. So the Beats product may get to live for a while as Apple's most minimal in-ear design. It's kind of interesting. But apparently this upgraded stemless AirPods Pro 2 will not be launching until 2022, according to reports, according to sources familiar with the matter.
What do you think about this design?
Yeah. Look, all the other manufacturers are basically doing this. If you're talking about Galaxy Buds, if you're talking about, trying to think of, like, there's so many now. Xiaomi does a bud in ear style.
Raycon.
I just did a pair of buds that were a lot like this as well from Comfo Buds, one more.
Oh, okay.
On the channel. This is just the form factor that most, a lot of different brands are heading in, at least have the stems on them a little bit more.
Oh.
But it's just there's so many players now in the, like we've talked before about how Apple continues to lose, that's the one there, Color Buds. How Apple continues to lose market share, but there's still, the lump sum of the business is still theirs and profits. But now it's so competitive because you can basically pick a fully wireless earbud for whatever purpose you have. If you want the absolute minimum size, you can go and find that. If you want particular like features like pass-through audio, if you want an in-ear design with noise cancel, like it's like, man, it exploded that market.
Yes.
It used to be a novelty. It used to be interesting for a person to have fully wireless earbuds. It was a real thing that we were hoping to have happen, and now it's just like they're everywhere.
Am I crazy to?
You're
really,
crazy. Absolutely.
To really like the original AirPod design
You're a toothbrush guy.
because I don't like the foam sticking into my ear.
Oh, you don't want the full in-ear treatment.
Yeah.
Well, you got to deal. It's fine.
Can I just have this?
You can have that. It's
Okay.
fine, but I will say to you that you will suffer from a performance perspective because you can't create the same level of seal, obviously.
Yeah. Noise bleed, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't see a lot of companies making like these kind of headphones.
No.
They're always like enclosed.
Well, because a lot of the movement has been towards noise canceling, right?
Sure.
And there's really no point to throw noise canceling into something that doesn't even create a seal to begin with.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it just kind of, I think it's hard to sell a headphone without any of those extra features, noise canceling, extra microphones, things like this, for a high price point, unless you're Apple. Apple can maintain it. But for those third parties, they're really battling on features and portability and IP ratings and fitness. I mean, well, that's another video I did recently with a brand that had where you have a heart rate monitor inside the earbud. Apple may do something similar there, putting some fitness tracking attributes into there. But no, you're not alone, Will. Some people, they don't like the in-ear design. They're very uncomfortable inserting something like that. Some
Yeah.
people are uncomfortable.
Still, just don't like the tight seal.
Some people are not looking for a tight seal.
Sure. Yeah.
Myself, I don't mind a tight seal. In fact, because I'm really cognizant of the sound differences. When you get an earbud with a good fit, I mean,
Yeah. You
can
like
sound-
the high fidelity.
it can sound as good as an over-ear if you get the right fit on there, in my experience.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting the right fit, how about you get the right fit for dinner? Courtesy of DoorDash, today's sponsor. I've told you in the past, this is my go-to for food ordering. This is a no-brainer for me. This is what I pop up. This is the app I pop up when I'm starving. And it doesn't matter what I'm into. There's always something to choose from, whether it's pizza, burgers. You can order from the nicer restaurant if you want to get the entree. You go to a nice restaurant, they pull out the word entree.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a main. It's not a dinner. It's an entree.
Yeah.
You ever experienced an entree before, Will?
It's been a while. In very rare occasions, but once.
You're right. It has been a while. I mean, you can get the
Is this
Thai
an
food.
entree?
You can get the Thai food on there. No, it ain't no entree. But that's all right because when you're in a pinch, look at that one. That's 14 minutes. You got the Wendy's.
Yeah,
And
this is an entree.
Everybody's been there before, and you step up to the Baconator, you might be into entree territory. It's quite possible. Anyway, I need to remind you, it's not just the food that you're going to get in like 15, 20 minutes from DoorDash, from your local restaurant. It's also anything you might have forgot as far as household essentials. Snacks, drinks in 30 minutes or less, dinner, deodorant, you name it.
Batteries.
Yeah,
toothpaste.
yeah. You may even just need a bucket of Ben and Jerry's.
Definitely.
Which flavor would you go for though? If you were going to go for an ice cream little mini tub,
I go for Cherry Garcia.
you go for Cherry Garcia.
That's my entree.
Well, if you eat the whole bucket, which is totally possible,
Why does it sound so harsh? A bucket of ice cream.
and
A
it's
little,
it's a small little container,
Yeah.
but it does have the attributes of a bucket.
Yeah. Sounds very dramatic. Bucket.
Over 300 different partners in the U.S., Puerto Rico, Canada, and Australia. Support your neighborhood go-tos or choose your favorite national restaurants like Popeyes, Chipotle, and Cheesecake Factory. For a limited time, Lou Later fans can get 25% off and zero delivery fees on your first order of $15 or more. Go download the DoorDash app and enter the code LouLater2021. That's 25% off up to a $10 value and zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code LouLater2021. 2021. Do not forget the code. That gives you the deal and lets them know that we sent you. You can click the link in the description or go download the app. And actually, it won't be a link in the description because you got to download this app on the App Store. Anyway, just don't forget the code LouLater 2021. This one you told me about, and we don't even have to get into the whole thing because you were all flustered this morning. You were like, you don't understand. We can't talk about it on the show. Crazy things have happened. And I was like, really? I feel like we could talk about it on the show. We just have to be, approach it in a responsible manner.
But that's not fun.
Well, you guys have no idea what Willie do off the air type of things he gets up to. It's really out of control half the time. Yeah. What he calls fun.
Yeah.
It's terrifying stuff this guy calls fun. Shows it to me. I go, oh, God. That's what you call fun? Samsung had, I guess, I don't know if it was a mistake or a mishap or just an unexpected outcome. Supposedly, at some point last night, they introduced this new virtual assistant called Sam. She's got the Samsung shirt. And it was a company that actually made this as a 3D character from, what was the name of the I guess, is it a developer, animator?
Light Farm Studios.
Light Farm Studios. They put this together. You scroll down, you can see some other images. And the internet just, I guess, freaked out. They used software. Light Farm also revealed the applications they used to create Samsung's new virtual assistant. Sam, they used Adobe After Effects, Slide FX, Houdini, Adobe Photoshop, Marvelous Designer, and Blender 3D. They essentially created this CG character in taking a form of a virtual assistant. And somehow, some way, the internet collectively lost its cool when they saw this render show up on social media. And you said even the way in which it was posted was a little bit strange.
What do you mean?
Like, did it emerge from Samsung's official account or did it come from elsewhere?
Well, I was looking at it and it was trending #1 on Twitter for around 2-3 hours, and then it was gone. I couldn't find the original post, but it was a lot of pictures of this girl. Yeah. And it was the same pictures, just like her posing.
Right.
But I couldn't find the original.
So people took this and ran with it wherever it originated, whether it was Samsung's official account or if it was coming directly from the studio that created it. And people ran with it and started create their own animations, many of which not safe for work type animations.
Yeah, very lewd.
But quickly, like you said, within half an hour, they started going nuts and people just lost their mind and said, oh my God, she's too attractive. Sam from Samsung, we can't handle ourselves. Type of thing. And I'm sitting there this morning and I'm confused. Well, I'm confused. You're showing me this. And you're explaining the story to me. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, what are they supposed to make her look like? If you are set with this task, you're going to make this individual attractive, I would assume.
Sure.
But the whole thing vanished, I guess. The official traces of it, I mean, it'll never vanish. Happened on the internet and ain't going to vanish. But many of the traces of it, the official traces of it, are no longer there.
I mean, the original source, the website, if I click on it from Light Farm, you don't see it. Maybe the site crashed or something.
Why is the site grayed out like that? It's very strange.
It's because it's a pop-up that's supposed to show maybe like a case study of how they made it, but I can't find it.
Wow, a little vanishing act and a backtrack, and maybe they saw what the internet was prepared to do with it, and they didn't want the association. I don't know. This is all speculative. It was very mysterious the way it all went down, but essentially, like many things, people get a hold of it and they, what do? They ruin it. Did they ruin it? Maybe they ruined it. I don't know. Yeah. Or maybe the individuals who were motivated to amplify the situation, maybe they got exactly what they wanted. I don't know. This is not my area of expertise. The virtual assistant But there were a lot of people talking about, you see this guy, look, he ditched Apple because of how attractive Sam virtual assistant from Samsung happened to be.
Yeah.
Come on, Will, can you help me out here, man?
When I came to you with this story, I was just like, man.
I come to you with a story.
I present you. It's such a weird anomaly, because when I saw it last night, it just felt like it was like a glitch in the matrix. It's like, how is it getting like 90,000 tweets per hour or whatever, and it was just like trending, and then all of a sudden it was gone. Mm-hmm. But while I was looking at it, it was just like,
you think Samsung called them up? Like they call up Jack Dorsey and Twitter, and they're like, "Oh, damn, this thing got nasty. Get rid of this. We can't have Samsung looking like they promoted this behavior, this thing with all this, the type of posts that user gen stuff they were doing with this character so quickly." Maybe. And I was talking to you about whatever the combination was of like your favorite tech brand or a high profile tech brand, and then like an attractive virtual, like there was some extra motivator for people. They're like, I like tech, and well, she's attractive. It's like, what?
Yeah. Because we never had like an avatar for like a tech brand.
It was just too much for you to handle. You can't throw all that at me at once.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Because I looked at the character, I'm like, I don't know. This looks like all those things that I see on the internet. All those like animated characters sort of look like that, don't they?
Sure, yeah.
I'm 74 years old. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Here's a cool one, though. Here's a cool one. Xiaomi can fully charge a phone in the time it takes an iPhone to go from 99% to 100. How about that? For an inflammatory headline, Android police. They don't have to worry about it. See, they got Android in the headline on the name of the site, so they can just say stuff like this. Nobody is upset about it. It's all Android people.
Yeah, there's no hate here.
Anyway, yes, that is real. We're talking about 200-watt wired charging. That is a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. They showed it off in video. 4,000 milliamp hour battery, charged to 100% in 8 minutes.
You see like a little bit of the smoke coming out.
And you know, I get excited when the animation for the charge amount is going up in real time.
Yeah.
This is another level to it. This is out of control. Now, they did speed it up for the purpose of the video. This is a minute-long clip.
So it is wired, and there's a wireless version too.
Yeah, so the wired, they actually got a crazy rate out of it. Like, I mean, look at this. Look at it going up. Stop it. 50% in 3 minutes. I need this technology. People are like, no, you're gonna ruin your. I don't care. I'm gonna ruin my thing. I'll have another phone, but before it even matters, I just need, when I'm low, I need a quick move so I can be out the door and also forget about the practicality of it. Just the cool factor of plugging it in and seeing that kind of rapid pace to it. Mm-hmm. We need to see the equivalent for electric cars. This is what we need.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you need more than 200 watts for the electric car.
But Xiaomi needs to work with Tesla.
But I want to top up the car in 8 minutes. And then we're golden. Anyway, so it's also 120 watt wireless charging, which will do 15 minutes for your whole phone wirelessly. That's equally amazing. Now, they've been doing these demos. They keep upgrading the situation. And this is not a product that's available at the moment. But they do sell 120 watt wired charging for the Mi 10 Ultra. So that's a real thing. It will end up in a product, as crazy as that is. At some point, you're gonna be able to purchase, and probably not that far in the future, a 200 watt capable device from Xiaomi.
Impressive.
And you're gonna charge it up in 8 minutes. Can't you tell how excited I am? This couple is not excited in the next story because they bought a $7,000 camera from Amazon, and apparently they got an empty box or multiple empty boxes instead of the camera. And this one stuck out to me because actually the camera they purchased is my favorite camera. We shoot the show on this camera. Talking about the Sony A1, maybe the hottest camera there is right now.
Yes, I agree.
I'm glad we agree on something.
They are great.
This is like it's like a $7,000 camera. So for the average person, that is a very big, well, to anybody, that's a big deal. And this is a couple, they did like event photography and, you know, small little gigs and whatnot. They don't got the extra 7Gs. And even if you did, you would still be very upset if this took place.
I'm curious, why they got the A1?
Here we go.
Like, are they...
Here we go. What are you doing, a conspiracy thing right now? Is that what you're doing? Well, what you're going to do?
I mean, they could have stepped down a little bit and go for a cheaper one, but...
They said they like...
I don't know. You do you, I guess.
Maybe it's like a future-proofing thing. They're like, we're going to have this camera for 10 years or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
A photography duo from Alamosa, Colorado recently ordered a Sony Alpha 1 camera from Amazon as an investment in their business. And they report the transaction cost them more than $7,000. You can see pictures of the boxes, I think, probably in the video somewhere. Yeah, there you go. I mean, how terrifying would that be? That arrives. You're like, oh, God, I don't even know where this happened. Like, who along the way could have just wiped out all the contents of the box and then shipped the box?
And there's no substitution in there for weight?
No, and that ends up being a key factor in this whole exchange. And this will help to maybe put to rest your conspiracy theories, which you've now rampantly distributed across the internet irresponsibly.
Yeah.
So they called up Amazon and said, these boxes are empty that arrived. And Amazon said, get out of my face. You emptied those damn boxes. Which got me thinking, I was like, oh yeah, could a person do that? Like
they could easily report like it was stolen or something, or
right. And so Amazon, it would be a weird thing to figure out. Like, well, okay, when did the tampering take place? But there's a key piece of evidence here, which is the UPS ship weight. You like this? You like that little detail? Like it's all of a sudden a forensic show.
It's like a checkpoint. So
that the weight was listed as 2 pounds. Well, you know this camera ain't shipping at 2 pounds. This camera shipping 3.5 pounds, something along these lines. And so, and it was just a rounded off figure, 2 pounds on the invoice. So they eventually escalated. They sent an email to Jeff Bezos.
Oh, did they?
I mean, you might do the same.
Oh.
If you were out 7Gs, you might type Jeff in there.
Yeah.
Enough of that. Or you might go contact your local news, which they appear to have done as well. They went to local news 7.
Denver 7.
They went to Denver 7 to blow it wide open.
And they did.
So anyway, Amazon is going to sort it out now. But talk about a terrifying experience, the empty box with the, you spent the savings on the A1. Speaking of a little mishap, Amazon mishap, apparently the Switch Pro was listed on Amazon for a very short period of time under the name Switch Pro. So maybe they go with that designation. Maybe they don't. Maybe somebody did something they shouldn't do. The link is now dead, but it popped up on Amazon Mexico, of all places. And it was listed as a new Nintendo Switch Pro, which I presume would be a placeholder. You wouldn't be able to actually purchase it there. But still, look at the sorry page for Amazon Mexico. It says, Lo sentimos. No pudimos encontrar la página que buscabas. You know what that means, right?
There's no Nintendo Switch here.
There you go.
Yeah.
You nailed it. Anyway, of course, people spotted it. People are very excited about this new upcoming Switch Pro, let's call it for now. And this was especially interesting because Nintendo sometimes does things in a mysterious way. They don't necessarily have to have a big event. Things can just pop up. I'm very nervous for the availability of this product. I don't know if you can tell well. There's been so many shortages and things, and Nintendo fans can be pretty serious. Some Nintendo fans out there. So I hope they can, if they go ahead and do this thing sometime soon, I hope they can meet some level of demand at least. Oh, you remember we were talking about the what was it? John Cena.
Yes.
We're talking about John Cena. He comes on with the Mandarin. I'm sorry. Taiwan. Go see my movie. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, that ordeal.
Well, the F9 movie took a dip, but it might not be because of that. I don't really know. The projected run is now sitting at 211 million, which is kind of, I mean, that's some money. 211 million.
They were expecting a lot more.
Well, it doesn't compare to what they were doing in 2017. The Fate of the Furious.
Right.
I mean, they've done 9 of these things, right? So who knows why one is better than the other? I don't even know how you review such a thing. You're on episode 9. Like at this point, you're seeing whatever they're giving you. But maybe it wasn't as good. Or maybe people have seen enough. I don't know. But still did 211 million. I think if you keep doing 211 million in China, you're probably going to keep doing that. You're probably going to keep making those movies as well. It's still enough money there. So anyway, the reason that some people are drawing the connection to the controversy around John Cena's Taiwan comments and then apology is because of how much it dipped from the first weekend to the next. So it's doing 136 million on the opening weekend, and then the second weekend it goes down to 20 million. Which, again, in the past, it's typically not such a steep decline. That said, apparently the reviews have not been good either for this film. So when you see where you review movies in China, there's a site called Maoyan and a site called Douban. And it got a 7.7 and a 6.8 on those sites. So people are checking that out and they're being like, I might skip that.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing you might think is that maybe the market hasn't come back completely because of COVID, but that's not the case because they crunched the big numbers and they're like, no, the market's pretty much as big. They say to date, China's box office has generated just under 4 billion in ticket sales in 2021, which is only about 5% behind the 2019 number pre-COVID. So it's actually the market is okay. You got movies that are crushing in China by the name of Hi Mom, which is a local comedy hit, 825 million. Hi Mom, just pulling in a Quiet Billy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Is it that good? I'm curious.
I don't know. Apparently, the people are more interested in that than F9. I was seeing the F9 trailers over here as well.
Yeah.
With the cars and the crashing.
Sure.
And they go off the cliff.
A lot of that.
And then the jet picks up the car as it's flying in the thing.
Muscles.
Yeah, there might have been muscles and...
Well, there's John Cena in there.
Oh, there's muscles. Yeah. No, I don't think in the clip I saw, I don't think John Cena was in it. I think it was more...
Oh, really?
I think it was the girl.
Oh.
Is it Rodriguez? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know all these things. I'm gonna have to one day. I'm gonna sit down.
Yeah.
And I'll do F1 through 9. You think I can manage that?
Like a 1 day
marathon. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, that's not 1 day. What are they? 2 hours? We're talking 18 hours.
Sure.
You
can do
it. Should we live stream it then?
Yeah.
We're like slumped over. Anyway, so it fell down a bit, whatever. Another piece of China news. You may have heard about this. This is one way to increase the number of people going to watch F9. They eliminated the 1-child policy. They eliminated the 2-child policy. Now they're onto the 3-child policy. See how it goes? Well, you go 1, you go 2, you go 3.
I wonder what's next.
See, for me, it's simple math. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The 1-child policy came in, I guess it was back in the 70s, and in order to curb overpopulation at the time, obviously completely different global landscape in that era and domestic landscape for China in that era. But of course, times change and the circumstances have changed, and now you have a rapidly aging population, very similar to other countries that are in the same situation. Countries like Japan, South Korea, countries like Italy, places where you got this upside down pyramid where the incoming workforce, you haven't hit that replacement rate for population, and you start to wonder what's going to happen, who's going to take care of. When I say take care of, it doesn't necessarily mean physically, economically speaking. Where does the new money get generated from, and what are the potential global impacts from a diminished workforce in places, massive places like China? Anyway, they try to turn it around. They say, look, forget about the 1-child, 2-child. Let's do 3 children. Speed it up. We got this reproductive rate of whatever, 1.3 in 2020, the lowest that they've had, and replacement level is 2.1. So it's way down. Now, a lot of experts don't think that this is going to work, or they think that it's too little too late, that once you have set the wheels in motion, once the transition has taken place and people are calculating their decisions around children, offspring, etc., it's tough to turn it back the other direction, even with the policy changes. Now, they say they're going to go even further. They say, never mind you that you can have 3, but we're going to even incentivize it. They said China will lower educational costs for families, step up tax and housing support, guarantee the legal interests of working women, and clamp down on sky-high dowries. It would also look to educate young people on marriage and love.
How?
You mean you've never been educated on marriage and love, Will?
Well, there's only sex ed in school.
No. We're not talking about that. We're talking about marriage and love.
Okay, well, I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, listen. This world is a wild place. As you know, we experiment with one thing, we do one thing, we create all these other consequences, and then we go do this other thing to address those consequences.
Yeah.
Creating new consequences.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's just the human thing. So, and this is an extreme case of it, to have a 1-child policy. So when I say it's not going to be enough to turn anything around, check this statistic. They were over there on Chinese social media on Weibo asking hashtag, are you ready for the 3-child policy? And there were 31,000 people who responded. And out of that, 29,000 said they would never think of it. 29,000 out of 31,000. The remaining 2,000 said, yeah, okay, let's go for it. So you're not going to flip a switch and replace your population. There's generational things that have taken place. These people, the vast majority, were a child of the single child policy. So they're used to it. They're like, what do you mean? I mean, I was the only child.
Yeah.
I'm having 3 children. You crazy? Why am I have these children running around? 29,000 out of 31,000. And then others say, hey, it's expensive. You been to Shanghai lately? So what am I going to do? And it's a pinch, and it happens fast. And it does feel like the beginning of my life, which hasn't actually been 74 years. I'm 36 years old. That everybody we're running out of everything.
Yeah.
So many people, and isn't it amazing that in global sense, relatively short scale, how quickly that can flip within a single generation.
Yeah. We've slowed down quite a lot.
And of course, there's certain places in the world that are not here yet, but China's an example of a trend that's taken place in a number of locations globally.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe this will do something, and maybe it will do not much. We gotta wait and see. Speaking of decreasing populations, Japan, sort of where it all started. This is the thing I've been wondering. Okay, so if you have a shrinking population, you don't have a replacement rate population. People often put their whole life savings into their residence, into the place that they purchase, under the premise that it's an investment and that it will always go up in value, their house. Well, if you have more houses, more residents, than you have new people that are willing to buy them or to give them value, then what is their value? Apparently in Japan, there are more than 8 million empty homes, and governments are selling them for as little as $500 in order to lure residents. So maybe, Willie, you got to pack up and just, because you like Japan anyway.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Like back in maybe 5 years ago. Lived there for like a year.
You took this too seriously.
No, it is serious. I was thinking about it. I love Japan. It's great. $500.
I don't think they're going to make it available to you because you're an outsider. I think they go to the locals first.
Oh,
The Japanese government is looking for people to occupy 8 million empty homes. Authorities are giving away free houses and renovation subsidies to incentivize move-ins. Some provinces even have Akaya banks, which are listings of vacant houses available for sale. So, like, that's the word that they use locally for vacant properties. These are on the outskirts of Tokyo, the vast majority. Apparently, the prefectures of Wakayama, Tokushima, Kagoshima, and Kochi have home vacancy rates of more than 18%.
oh,
It's huge. 20%. So on your street, right, you're walking down your street, every 5 houses,
yeah.
one in every 5 houses is empty.
It's 20%. I mean, these are nice houses, though.
You would take that
Yeah.
that one right there.
It's open and a lot of light. Looks generally pretty clean.
That's a vacant place right there. $500.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You got to be on the outskirt prefecture though.
Sure, yeah.
Is that all right?
Oh, yeah. I like nature.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get to. I mean, you're gonna be in a smaller town. You're gonna have to get to know the locals.
Well, I'll buy up the neighborhood. $500 a piece. That's great.
62.42 million homes were unoccupied. This is insane. Like, but even though they're incentivizing it, that person's gonna have to go from one home to that home.
Yes.
So without immigration, I'm like, where you just transferring one empty home for another empty home, or maybe people will have it as a second home or a vacation home. Anyway, they're desperate to occupy these places, selling them for as low as $455. Cities like Tochigi and Nagano have banks, websites developed by the city for abandoned homes. Nagano was where the Olympics were over there. I think you can go snowboarding over there, Will.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to go there.
I mean, I'm a real estate agent right now.
Well, you're selling me, and it's working.
It's crazy. You think about it, man. The value of something is only what other people are willing to pay for it. There is no inherent... If we're talking in dollars and cents, the value is what the last person paid for it or what the next person's willing to pay. Even more so what the next person's willing to pay for it.
Yes.
As mentioned, this trend is happening elsewhere in the world. Here we have a southern Italian town, Cinquefrondi, selling off houses for €1 in an effort to repopulate an abandoned town. And how about this? Another town in Italy took it up a notch in the north, offering a similar deal, but sweetened by giving remote workers who have children a cash incentive of €9,000. So you come there, you get a house, they give you 9,000 euros, and they say, just do your remote work from here. You have the internet. It's a nice little town.
It's a nice vacation.
It's a nice little town. Now, I think you got to live there, though. I think the stipulation, you got to live there because they want, they want the town to go on and to not be a ghost town, essentially. Yeah. And so that's why the children aspect, isn't it so weird? 2 consecutive stories. It's like.
Sure, yeah. It's, the town story, it's like if you were to buy a house here, there has to be some sort of infrastructure there as well, like a grocery store or a school. Can't just have it like unoccupied.
And
right?
And that's the thing. The longer it goes unoccupied and the more places that get abandoned, the more impossible it becomes to run the services. Yeah. And you see how the breakdown occurs. Because it just seems so foreign in so many places that have been a certain way for so long. Constant growth. Yes. Like all around here. It's like, I don't know, it just gets bigger. I don't know, the numbers go up.
Yeah.
But
we need people.
It's immigration, right? It's mostly around here. It's mostly immigration that has led to that. And so you take it for granted. You're like, oh yeah, there's unlimited people. Just keep people forever. And it's like, oh wait, go to the southern Italian town of Cinquefrondi and they're desperate for people.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but remote work might change that. Remote work could be cool if you get the fat internet connection. Elon puts the Starlink up there, and next thing you know,
have a couple friends.
This podcast is coming at you from the south of Italy.
Oh, can we do that?
I'm just saying.
That'd be great.
Another city that's been absorbing people lately, Austin, Texas, the biggest winner from the tech migration. It has been the biggest beneficiary of inflow of tech workers per 10,000 LinkedIn users. There's a nice little chart, which I love charts. It shows you that the winners in this game have been Austin, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Charlotte, North Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, Denver, Colorado. These are all numbers going up. Las Vegas is in there, Seattle. So in the case of Austin, Texas, the number for inflow of new tech workers per 10,000 LinkedIn users, 217 in Austin. Now, on the other side, but this is well documented. Everybody knows it was a lot of movement from the Bay Area as well. And it's not just tech workers. I mean, you just hear in Austin this and that.
Yes.
Now, on the flip side, you can see the number that left San Francisco. You can see the inverse of this chart. If you scroll down a little further, you can see that San Francisco had an outflow of 80 tech workers per 10,000 LinkedIn users in the San Francisco Bay. Boston, Chicago, Cincinnati, New York City. It's a lot of big cities over there that have lost their tech sector workers. A big part of this just has to be the remote thing as well.
Yes.
Where it's like, well, you can be anywhere. And people are like, oh, I'm out of here. This place is expensive. Or I could get a better deal over here. Or I can get away from this weather. Or, I mean, in the case of New York, it got hit especially hard with the COVID stuff and was pretty much shut down in a city that really can't be shut down in order to be attractive because you got to be out there. You got to be at the restaurants. It's a lifestyle that became hard. People went to the more suburban locations. People went to the more suburban towns, cities, smaller cities.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that was interesting to me on this chart was Los Angeles all the way at the bottom, but I guess Los Angeles is not necessarily a hub for tech jobs in the same way that somewhere like San Francisco or New York has been historically, or they just lost fewer people. People were more reluctant to leave that region as possible as well. We got a little bit more information about the computer, the gaming PC that's going to be inside the new Tesla Model S and X. AMD has given some details and confirmed that they will be putting a 10 teraflop gaming rig in there. Well, actually, Elon confirmed that. They're just giving the details here. During their Computex 2021 keynote, they revealed that the Tesla infotainment system consists of an AMD Ryzen processor with its own integrated graphics paired with a discrete AMD RDNA 2 GPU. And here's the quote. So we actually have an AMD Ryzen APU powering the infotainment system in both cars, as well as a discrete RDNA 2-based GPU that kicks in when running AAA games, providing 10 teraflops of compute power. We look forward to giving gamers a great platform for AAA gaming. AAA gaming in the car. Wow. That's pretty cool. No, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I guess it's for PC games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
AAA titles, you're in the car. Now, you're going to need to be parked, Will, obviously. The display, this huge display is right in the dash.
Yeah.
Of course, in the new Model S, they've flipped it into landscape, which is very helpful if you want to play that new Witcher title. I mean, you don't want to play that in portrait, obviously. Yes. It would be cool maybe if it pivoted so the passenger could play while you were driving on a road trip.
Yeah.
That would be cool. But I guess the mechanism wouldn't be as strong, or how could they guarantee you weren't trying to play while you were in traffic on autopilot, creating some next story about, hey, that guy's playing AAA titles in there on the highway.
He's playing Need for Speed.
Hey.
He's driving in the car. It would be cool to have like driving games use the yoke.
You talking yoke talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be kind of cool. Just saying.
If they could integrate the steering into the
With
simulator.
the pedal
Yeah. I know that there was a game previously. It was more like a Mario Kart cartoony style game, which did use the steering wheel as the input. But you're right. In a proper sim,
yeah.
One of the things that sucks though from a gaming perspective is that the monitor is offset.
Yeah, it's lopsided.
So your neck is a little bit cranked. But I guess if you pull the seat back far enough, you can probably find a comfy spot. I can't wait to try this out. AAA titles in a Tesla. Yeah. Next Tesla story. This is a really bizarre situation. Teslas made in Texas will likely have to leave Texas before Texas can buy them.
Right. Yeah, I read this. It was a weird law.
Yeah. So Texas is not the only state that has a law like this. These laws originally exist in order to protect dealers, because dealers are usually franchise owners, have been historically, from the likes of Ford and GM. And because manufacturers could presumably go into markets and outcompete their own franchise owners, right? They could drop the margin, and many states who knew that the dealer networks had big employment in the state and wanted some degree of protection, they put in these laws that would say, hey, you can't, the manufacturers themselves can't sell direct to customer in these markets. And that would obviously transfer leverage to the dealers who would be involved locally, politically, presumably, in order to achieve such a thing. Now, with Tesla, it's very bizarre. I mean, obviously, this doesn't apply. There are no dealers. There's no franchises. It's just Tesla, the corporation. But they can't get around the law, and things can't move fast enough. I read through the article. It actually seems like Texas themselves want it to change. They realize that when it comes to electric manufacturers, it's not like it was in the old days. Isn't that the setup is not the same, that you have these franchise-based dealers that need that level of protection. But the problem is, it's looking like it might not happen until 2023, the change, because things are slow in government. I mean, you know this. It takes time, and committees and review processes and blah, blah, blah. So you could have a situation in which Elon Musk's own Cybertruck, since he's living in Texas now, would have to leave the state first before he could buy it and put it in his driveway.
Yeah, that's so backwards. Does it physically have to get out of the state?
Doesn't sound very energy efficient, does it?
No.
Yes, it has to leave the state, go sit somewhere. I don't even know for how long, and then and then it has to come back.
All right.
So I hope they could get that sorted out in advance. That just seems like a big waste of everyone's time and energy to actually go through with something like that. But as it stands right now, that law applies not just to Tesla, by the way. It would apply to the likes of Rivian and whatever. Any EV manufacturer would have to follow the same rules. And like I said, it's not just Texas that has the rule. Connecticut and other places have similar things in place that work around. This is the last Tesla story. Apparently, there's something that has left, a feature that has left the passenger seat. This is the lumbar support. Are you a lumbar guy, Will?
Yeah, I love me a good lumbar.
You would push the button on the lumbar?
For my car?
Like if you had so you get this little dial and you can actually protrude more like in the lumbar region.
Yes.
Or less.
Yes.
You can fine tune it.
Yeah. So I do it on my chair. It's great.
You would tune it up.
Mm-hmm. Every day it's like this weird mechanism and you just move it up and down.
So I
always put it in check.
So you would like it to be pronounced or you would like it to be subtle?
I like subtle.
Okay. So just subtle, a little bit of extra. Anyway, so this is a common feature, obviously, and it's never in the back seats, but it's often in the front seats. Sometimes the driver only and sometimes both front seats. Anyway, in Teslas, in the Model 3 and Y, I guess, it was in the passenger seat, and then it vanished on recent models. And some people noticed and they were upset about it. Like, I use it all the time. This is the tweet that started it all from Ryan the Nerd. He says, I really don't like the direction of Tesla. Raising prices of vehicles, but removing features like lumbar for the Model Y. On top of rumors of FSD increase to 14,000 without any real added features to FSD unless you're a beta tester. This was replied to by Elon Musk, which is interesting because he was not tagged. Tesla was tagged. Does he monitor the Tesla tag as well? Maybe so. He says moving lumbar was removed. I think he needs to edit that one. Lumbar was removed only in front passenger seat of 3Y. Logs showed almost no usage, not worth cost and mass production for everyone when almost never used. And then pricing increases were due to major supply chain price pressure industry-wide and raw materials. So he's saying the price thing has nothing to do with it. And he's saying, well, we only got rid of the feature because no one was using it. And they have the logs because it's this constant two-way communication between your vehicle and Elon. He sees everything that's going on there. He's like, hey, Will, why aren't you using the lumbar?
I was like, I always do, but no one else does.
Well, in the passenger seat, the driver's seat, people use it, so they left it.
Oh, okay.
But in the passenger seat, they say no one was ever activating it. I guess the passenger is less likely to be in there consistently enough to be like, oh, I got to tweak. But I'm with you. I tweak the lumbar. I think even in a passenger, I might reach down and tweak the lumbar.
Yeah.
I might be your passenger in your car. I might be looking for the lumbar.
Oh, okay.
It's possible. But not anymore. Not if you end up getting that Model 3 you talked about. Then I got no lumbar. I might be upset about it.
Yeah.
The Boring Company has done a little demo here, moving 4,400 passengers per hour. And this is the thing, like this tunnel, at first it was exciting. Then people were trolling it. And maybe it's getting exciting again because people are looking at the numbers and they're saying, you know what? And I got this perspective because I have a perspective on it because I had been going to Las Vegas for what seems like a decade and having to get to that stinking convention center up above ground. And I'm saying that I'm doing the numbers. I'm like, okay, so you got like 40, 50,000 at the center convention center. Not everyone's leaving at the same time. I'm like, you move close to 5,000 per hour. Plus you still got the buses and cabs. And I'm like, you know what? This is going to help things out a little bit when you have these conventions. Plus you got the cool factor of being down in the tunnel, and Teslas happen to be comfortable vehicles. And so anyway, there's a nice little video demonstrating the pace. Who put this video? It was Miles to Memories as the individual. Very comprehensive video, 13 minutes long, and it gives you a full sort of test run through the tunnel, what it's like, how fast it happens, how many people they can move, where it picks you up at the convention center. They have Model Ys, Model 3s, and Model Xs. And they have one benefit over rail systems, which is this express functionality. And that sounds fancier than it is, but essentially when it goes past the stop, well, there's a little section for cars to pull in to do drop-offs and pickups, but then the other ones can just continue along straight. They don't have to stop. So if you're doing the express from one end to the other, you know what I'm saying? What are you doing?
Are you talking about this?
Yeah, so you express down the right-hand side. You just go right past the stop.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is the very beginning, so probably not here. But there's a few stops, and eventually, there you go. This is a good example, yeah. So it turns out, as goofy as it looks, just a bunch of Teslas in tunnels, they're emitting no fumes. It's all very clean down there. You charge them up in the evening. They move people at a relatively rapid pace. They're going to be comfortable for passengers.
And you don't have to drive.
Well, that's the thing, though. Having been to CES so many times, there's really a limited number of ways in and out. And this alleviates a huge thing by not being on the surface. Because the surface is already jam-packed.
Yeah.
And for the record, to do like a subway system, a mass transit system, would have cost a lot more than what they ended up putting in. This was like $50 million.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'll be back to Vegas sometime soon.
Yeah, we should all go.
Maybe in January, whatever. Just back to CES. See what's going on out there, because it's been a few years off.
For sure.
And we'll hop in these Teslas right here. Now, this guy in the next article, he hopped into a Porsche, actually. And he was going to show off his skills, but it didn't go so well. And we have a video clip to prove it. So it was some sort of a car meetup. He's got the 911 going. And he had a bunch of onlookers. They had their cameras out. They're like, ooh, let's see what this guy's going to do. And he got the cars moving past. It's going to get onto a freeway here. Waits for the opportunity. You'll see somebody lines up right at the rear end of the vehicle to like, with the smartphone, taking a video. It's all so exciting. And this guy's about to launch, and then he goes for the launch, and then he goes straight then he crashes straight into the guardrail. Can you give us that one more time? It's a very weird situation that takes place, because you're thinking the whole time, all right, you lost control, but like hit the brakes somewhere. Hit the brakes at some point in there. You're not going that fast.
Yeah.
But he just takes the 911 straight into the guardrail. That's not a fun day.
He was so confident.
I just noticed the cops and tow truck and like a fire truck are on the other side of the road. Look up at the top part of the screen. See the flashing lights?
Oh, yeah.
There's a tow truck and a convertible and a large SWAT-looking vehicle, and then this guy does this right on the other side. So
his friend is still filming.
Yeah, I guess you just panic. You're just like, oh, this is dumb. Why did I do that? And then you just panic and then go into the guardrail.
Whoops.
That's a whoops. It's a whoops. It's not the worst. I mean, could have been worse. It's a whoops. That's all. This crazy camouflage tent that you can buy on Amazon is transparent from the inside.
Nice.
You like this type of story. Yeah. Shout out BGR.com. This is for hunting, but you don't have to use it for hunting if you're not into hunting. You could just have a sick view when you head out on your overlanding trips, Will. This is almost like, when you look at it, it's kind of, is that real? But
is it digital?
No, not at all.
Oh.
It's a special type of material. You can play the video, actually, which showcases the guy walks around it, and you're like, no way. It's hard. Are my eyes deceiving me? So from the outside looking in, fully enclosed. From the inside looking out, lovely view. Amazing view.
Cool.
Now, developed for hunters, because obviously you don't want the game looking back at you, but you need to see them, so you're fully covertly covered. But I'm thinking, man, that you could use that in all kinds of things, like military operations.
Sure, yeah.
Willie Doo's vacation to the beach or southern town in Italy where they're going to pay him to hang out for a bit. Bring that with you. Well, no, they were going to give you a house. I don't think you need this, but this is cool technology. Let me explain how it works. The design uses a special kind of scrim. I guess that's the material. It appears opaque when lit from the front, but can be seen through when lit from behind. It is called the Rhino Blinds R180 see-through hunting blind, available on Amazon. How much does it cost? Let's find out. Let's click the affiliate link. I got currently unavailable, which sort of sucks.
How much do you think it costs?
Okay, here we go. We have some other ones that are like $150.
Oh, here it is.
You got $250? Okay. So that's not crazy. $250.
Yeah. For a sizable tent?
Maybe we're going to have to
like
try it
2
out. Maybe we're going to
people?
have to order it up and try it out. I don't know. It's got the camel pattern on the outside, oversized door, zipperless for silent entry and exit when you're hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool technology. I'm starting to think of the ways in which this could be utilized. But I'm guessing as well, there's hunters watching this. They're like, yeah, it's been out forever. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Big deal. I've been looking out. I've been in this blind here for a decade.
I was born in this.
Ah, man, what are you talking about? Getting all excited about that. Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley officially have a bout scheduled. Oh, no, not scheduled. Well, scheduled, but no date, I don't think. Oh, is there a date? No. The original article, the news broke on The Athletic. There was some speculation about who Jake Paul's next opponent was going to be because he was going to fight a real fighter, you know? That was the word. And Woodley and him had that exchange at the previous event.
Yeah, in the locker room.
He went in the locker room, and of course, he's good pals with
Askren.
Ben Askren, who was the last opponent of Jake Paul. Well-documented situation. Now, Woodley is certainly an upgrade as far as a challenge is concerned. There's no doubt about it. This is a former UFC welterweight champion. It is still a smaller guy. He fought at 170. And part of me thinks that, as crazy as this sounds to say, that there is some calculation that goes on with Team Jake Paul when they're selecting their opponents in trying to find matchups where they may see some sort of advantage or opportunity. But there's no question that this is the biggest challenge of his very short boxing career. No doubt about it.
Sure, yeah.
So Woodley used to fight at 170. Their match, they will meet up at 190 pounds. And the war of words has already started. Woodley says he's going to shut up. I don't know if he said that. I mean, it was along those lines.
He's going to shut up?
He's going to shut up Jake Paul. He's going to, for the entire community, or he's going to kick him out of combat sports forever. I'm sure you can find the quotes. They're funny. Maybe it's already in here. Let me see.
Is it?
Nah, it's not in here. You got to find it. It was on social media.
I'll drop you in 2 rounds.
Jake Paul said to Woodley that he's going to drop him in 2 rounds. He respects his career, but unfortunately, he's going to have to drop him.
Yeah.
So, here we go. I have a list. This is from Jake to Woodley. I have a list of people I plan on knocking out, and as I enter my 4th pro fight, I am excited to cross the first one off the list by challenging myself against Tyron Woodley, 5-time UFC champion known for his knockout power. He's already building him up.
Right.
Already saying this guy is a real knockout artist. It's important to note Woodley is on the tail end of the career, and he's right around 40, and he has lost his last few bouts. I'm not a UFC champion, you know. You know, if you made it to that point, it's he's knocked dudes out cold, no doubt about it. How many times did I say no doubt about it? Once we start talking about fighting, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to talk about boxing, no doubt about it.
Very confident.
Anyway, Woodley responded saying he's fighting on behalf of the whole MMA community. He's fighting on behalf of combat sports in general.
It's weird that he labeled himself as the guy, you know? He's going to end Jake Paul's reign and somehow have some sort of pride for MMA fighters. It's just weird that he labeled it that way.
Save combat sports.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it is marketing.
Sure.
Right? They both stand to gain more. He said he's going to make more money than he ever did in any UFC bout. And so you kind of have to build it up as being this big thing that's going to change the course of combat sports.
Yeah. But if he actually does lose, that's
that's the thing. That's the thing about trash talking, though, right? You got to sell the fight. You also got to live with the words. And when you're a member of the general public, you don't get into these bouts. You sit there and say, oh man, how much is it going to sting after you said everything you said and then you got knocked out? But
That's me.
That's you. But then at the end of the day, they're counting the dollars. They're like, well, yeah, I said what I had to say to sell the fight.
Yeah.
So I don't really, when they talk like that, I recognize that, yeah, there's certain circumstances where two guys might really hate each other, but they also know how to cash checks.
They know how to sell.
They know how to cash checks, man. That's what they got to live off. They can't live off how tough they are without the check associated with it.
Who are you going for?
Oh my God. Jake Paul's a betting favorite out the gate when it was announced, but not by a whole ton. Not like the Mayweather Logan Paul fight where Mayweather's a huge favorite.
Yes.
This was actually a little bit closer. I'm not going to make a pick at this point. I'm going to save my pick because we're likely a far distance out and we'll probably talk about this again. So I'm going to save my pick. But I will say, if you force me to give any level of insight, I think it's closer than some people might think.
Okay.
In other words, it's not Mayweather versus Logan Paul. It is still a crossover. MMA and boxing are different things.
Young versus old.
Age is a thing too.
Experience, somewhat experience.
I mean, what are we talking about? I don't know.
See, this is why it's so interesting.
Well, that's why the fight promos always work, is because you're like, well, but there's a chance if it just. But certainly, there are some pieces here that could be in the favor of Jake.
Right.
There's some pieces there, and there's plenty of pieces there that could be in the favor of Tyron. I mean, he's been in the cage with a lot of strikers. He's seen a lot of that action under the lights. And maybe this one is a coin flip, actually, now that I think about it. Maybe there's a reason why those odds are like that. Now people are screaming and say, choose, make it. No, let me watch some content. Let me prepare myself.
Some training videos.
I don't know. They both can punch. Once you can punch.
Puncher's chance.
Once you can punch, but that's the difference with the Floyd fight. With the Floyd fight, it's like, no, he can't be hit. He hasn't been hit in 50 bouts. And why is this guy going to be the guy that hits him? Why? What is special about this individual? Okay, Floyd got a couple years older, so maybe he was dodging punches from Manny Pacquiao. Yeah. So,
although he did get hit quite a few times with McGregor.
What I'm saying is, on a defensive end, it seems it's worth analysis when you're going against a relatively amateur boxer. If you've got this really strong defensive game, there's just not much of a chance there to connect.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas when you have Tyron going in there, which I don't know how much time he spent boxing, the sport of boxing. I know he's a wrestler, MMA fighter, but if he goes in there to bang and to just throw heavy arms, well, there's going to be heavy arms in there coming from both parties. And then now you have the chance for something to connect on either side. So the question is how defensive he plays it, and if he can encompass some of the tactics of the likes of somebody like Floyd Mayweather to exhaust this individual who's just never experienced something like that. When meeting with somebody who's hard to hit, moving around in there. It's probably truly that's probably the smart way to play it. But if you go in there thinking you got to save the world and throw everything at this person and knock them out. If you go in there without the calculation, you're actually making it easier on the person with less experience.
Right.
You're giving them more of a chance, even though you want that glory. So,
well, apparently there's going to be a lot of showboating with Logan Paul, in the ring.
Who said that?
Logan Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, what a crazy time. What are we talking about?
Hey, I guess it kind of resurrected boxing, right?
It does work. The formula works because why does it work? Because the questions are bigger. It's like a clickbait thing happening to us.
Sure.
Similar to that initial what is going on, it draws enough attention where then you get invested and then you're into it. If you just have a straight up high level thing and both parties aren't very popular or famous and don't have the ongoing dialogue,
Yeah.
you can watch it out of a level of appreciation, but the questions aren't the same.
Right.
The questions around and the implications of the fallout, and it's a weird and it's not exclusive to these Paul brothers. You had, I mean, how interested are people in the quiet fighters versus the ones who are loud or the ones who create a big promotion? Or this has existed long before these individuals, recent fighters. I mean, you got all this promotion with the
there's a YouTube versus TikTok boxing event happening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, boxing just seems like it's increasing in popularity now.
There's something weird about
influencers.
Yeah, there's something weird about us as the viewers wanting to see damage done to influencers. Like, because there's something so truthful about combat, just violent,
very primal,
just and like why it is that we want
and formal.
We want them to participate in a thing which is there's no scrambling out of. It's just like obvious and concrete, and like you are punching each other. We have paid you, now punch each other. Like there's something some weird psychology there, but you're like you said, it's primal. It's been there forever, and it appears to not just apply to the greatest versions of it, like the greatest fighters, boxers, MMA fighters, but we want to see everybody do it.
Yes.
Maybe not everybody.
I mean, we were talking about Trump and Biden.
Yeah, I know, but we didn't. We decided at the end, like, actually, we don't want to see that. Yeah, there's a certain thing where you really want to see individuals participate that have prepared and are in some sort of shape to do the thing. So we do have some rules.
Yes,
but
we have standards.
They are weird,
very minimal, but it's
squirrely, relatively loose rules. Like everyone was okay with the Tyson Jones Jr. fight, right? Everyone was like, you know what? They're in pretty good shape. And they went in there and they danced around and it actually looked all right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of nuance to it. This next story, Naomi Osaka, sticking with unusual sports scenarios. I mean, she's one of the best in the world.
Yes.
So she doesn't really interact with the sideshow boxing. Is it even sideshow? If it's Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul beats Tyron Woodley, it's not really a sideshow anymore. As much as Tyron Woodley is not where he was in his prime, that's not a sideshow anymore. That's a legit sporting event, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's the closest one to a legit sporting event.
As long as they don't have like the circus that they do have with Triller, it kind of legitimizes it if it was like it's done with Showtime.
Yeah.
This time. So
you think it's gonna be more like a boxing event?
At least less of the circus that we see in Triller events.
Or they got inspired by Triller.
Oh boy.
Anyway, yes, Naomi Osaka is one of the best in the world. I don't know what she's ranked at right now. I think she's top 5. Anyway, there was a bit of a controversy. She had some media obligations at this French Open, French tournament, and she said, I'm not feeling it. My mental health is not great right now. I'm going to skip the media obligation. And then the organization had a fine in place, punishment for not meeting the media obligation, which applies to all players, fine up to $20,000. They fined her $15,000 for not doing her media obligation, answering a few questions. She comes out and says, all right, fine, you take your stance. I'll withdraw from the whole tournament.
Right.
Which is what she's done now. And she says, look, I'm suffering anxiety. I'm not great with the public speaking. I always struggle with the interviews. And I'm going to drop out of the tournament. This is what she said. I'm going to drop out of the tournament because it's becoming a distraction now. I'm just going to sit this one out.
Right.
Essentially. Now, there was a backlash that took place. People got angry, are currently angry with the organization and those that manage all the Grand Slam tournaments because of these policies saying, hey, you got to take this mental health thing more seriously. There has to be a protocol here. You can't be taking a person who's telling you they're struggling and then finding them but then at the same time, I think about this as a fan of sports. Like the Leafs just got kicked out the playoffs, and I'm sitting there and watching the interviews afterwards, and they're like, their hands like this, they're like, we gotta be better, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, and you're like, well, they don't want to be sitting there right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, they do not want to be sitting there right now, but there must be some kind of a demand.
Yes.
To watch them talk after the thing has taken place. I know it's been controversial in fight sports, which we were just talking about, because the person has just been damaged and then the microphone is there. And the same goes into anything that you pour your heart and soul into, that there's a microphone like, all right, explain, tell us why it went like that. And you're like, I can see that as being incredibly frustrating.
Yes.
All that said, a lot of pro athletes have done it for a long time, and they've just dealt with it, and it's just been part of the job. And there's a lot of jobs, any job, every single job has something in it you don't like. And you can avoid it, and sometimes you can skip it, and sometimes you can take a break on it, but eventually it's going to creep back up, and you're going to have to address it, and you're going to have to do it. And maybe for this particular individual in this particular circumstance, maybe this isn't the time to be making an example out of it, particularly if they're saying it's an unusual circumstance where they're suffering at that particular moment. Maybe that's not the time to be sending the fine. But also, from a policy perspective, it's a hard thing to govern, because I would say that a lot of the time, pro athletes would not want to talk to media.
Right. They just want to play the game.
I would assume I would want to feel that way.
Yeah.
There will be plenty of times I'd be like, yo, get the media out of my face right now.
Yeah. But I want to play the other side of it where so I watch MMA, UFC, and it's all of it, all of the build up, like the media scrums to the actual event. It's entertaining.
Yes.
You would like to hear what the competitors say, right?
Absolutely.
But also afterwards, like their game plan, what went wrong or right.
Okay, so here's what I think. I think there should be a certain number of passes.
Yes.
That you can use for personal, whatever, I don't know what you're going to call it, like a personal exception. And then throughout the tour, in the case of tennis, you can utilize those exemptions when you need them most. When you're feeling the most distressed, or when you're feeling you're lacking focus, or when you're feeling physically, mentally exhausted. Now, I don't know, maybe those do exist, but so you have this limited number that you got to manage over the course of the year, but you also know you have this out if things get really nasty.
And everyone has those chances.
You got a certain number of sick days, certain number of mental health days in there, and then you find some nice line for it. But also just being a human, being a human about it. Like, hey, here's the way I'm feeling. And I don't know, maybe some other player stepping up and being like, oh, you know what? I'll do the promo interview, or I'll answer extra questions, or I don't know. Sometimes when you just boil it down to the simplest form, it's like, okay, they're trying to promote the tournament. Is there anybody else that's feeling okay right now? I could step up, and I know there's no real replacement because she's a high profile star and it does come with the territory, but I got to feel like there's a way other than the fine and then the exit from the tournament. I mean, it's a bad look all around. Yeah, I find some other way to manage it. It's unfortunate it goes all the way around the thing, and the groups can't interface to the degree to say, here's why that went like that, etc.
Yeah.
Or can we do this instead or whatever. Yeah, like even that, like how flexible is that? Like, can I reschedule this interview? You know?
Yeah, when my mind is right.
Can I reschedule this interview from 6 p.m. over here to 8 a.m.?
Uh-huh.
Or I don't know.
And it's tougher as a singular competitor too. You know, with like a basketball team, you have your teammates that you can rely on to give you some sort of word about the team game.
That's a great point. Well, you've made a great point, and I feel like you have found this is a critical moment in the show.
Oh.
You made. I think that's I think honestly, I think this is a very key point in this situation. It's very
singular.
trying experience to be in an competitive individual sport. You have nobody to lean on. I mean, you got your coaches, call up your friends and family.
She's 23.
But you travel the world, and success and failure is exclusively yours.
Yes.
And there's a lot of pressure there. Yeah, individual sports. It's different psychology.
Yeah.
Good point, Will. Speaking of individual psychology, next up we have an Amazon driver. Go.
Yeah, I know.
We have an Amazon driver who also needs to take the day off for sure. He was losing his cool big time as he was driving around, and it's really funny because on the side of the Amazon truck you have the happy face, the Amazon logo, smiling arrow, and the profanity. I think you can play it.
Does he swear or does he just yell?
He swears, but you can play it. So they've age restricted it because of the actual language. You can just mute the early part of it and then play the audio from the second part of it. So it's an Amazon driver screaming from his van as he goes up and down the street. You can play the audio now. Just screaming as he's doing a 3-point turn.
Truck ID or something.
Just losing it. Just completely having a bad day.
This part's the best.
It's almost unbelievable. Really.
Yeah.
Wild.
Truck ID or something.
While he's doing a Yui.
Now you can imagine, speaking about mental health, you can imagine the demand on the Amazon drivers the last year, the entire last year, just pushing it, man. Just pushing it as far as efficiency and volume. And you hear all these stories of like tired drivers and long hours. And so there's definitely some stress involved over there. Maybe it helped him out. It let it out. Maybe you get in front of the media and you just start yelling at them. Mm-hmm. Nah! And all of a sudden you feel better. They're like, excuse me, Naomi, please tell us what's going to happen in this tournament once you make it to the championship. Ah! I don't think she would do that. I might do something like that.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you guys are annoying me. So I wonder if there's a stipulation that like, no, you have to answer I don't think you do. I think you just have to show up. I think it's up to you how you answer.
Yeah,
all right, now you see, I talk too much. I got too many words. I would be having the bad mental health and I would still take the interview and then I would just act crazy.
Sure. Start dancing.
That's what I would do. I'd be like, okay, that's what you want? That's what you want?
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, I got to do one quick shorts reaction because this is number 13 on trending. Is that what you're showing over there?
Yeah.
It's so easy to trick people. Shorts, like this is what YouTube is promoting lately. You can't escape the shorts takeover. And so I've been learning all about shorts content, Will, because I've been missing so much on this regular YouTube without shorts and TikTok on it. How did I manage to survive for so long without this level of content? Go ahead and play the video. 6 million views. Posted May 30th.
I should.
6 million views. May 30th. Are you happy? Are you happy with that?
No, I'm not.
Isn't this what you signed up
ridiculous.
for? Isn't this what you're here for? Is this okay? Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I feel like this is meant to do what it's doing to us. Is it possible that it's meant to frustrate you? Like that cheese in on the joke, sort of? No? Okay.
I don't know how I feel about it because I use TikTok, and this is the same kind of content.
Let it all out, Will. Let it all out.
It's I don't know, man. I just feel like it's not all the content is meaningless, but I feel like a lot of this is just not really informative, inspirational. It's just is. I don't hate it. I don't like it. It just exists. That's what it is.
Wow,
I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest.
You're really holding nothing back here.
Yeah.
You're really laying it all on the line.
I mean, congrats to her for a successful video. This is where you step in. What's your take on it?
I just don't
You
know.
start screaming.
I don't know. Isn't it inevitable that if we all gravitate towards the shorter the content, doesn't it have to become more meaningless? If we all get addicted to scrolling instead of paying attention, doesn't it inevitably become like, because understanding takes time, right? Nutrition takes time. Like if you want the most nutritious meal, you can't just chuck something in the microwave.
No, but I feel like this is an introduction to like content that you wouldn't have seen. It's an introduction. You know?
What?
At least maybe not for this content.
But what I'm saying is that attention span is correlated with intelligent creatures. Intelligent creatures typically have greater attention. If we're all cognizant of the fact that we are intentionally limiting our attention to volume of pieces of content, how are we to not assume that there will be an effect? How are we not to assume that this isn't what will happen with content?
Maybe not all content.
But I'm saying in general, a movement towards. I mean, I was already feeling that way on YouTube prior to TikTok blowing up.
Kind of like a shock factor.
Well, it just doesn't have enough time. The content doesn't. Yeah, like the things that were happening pre-click psychology. When a person would look at a video, decide if they want to watch or not. How long retention on a particular video. What was available to select from, and the addictiveness of actually selecting videos versus actually watching videos. There is something very attractive. You feel like you're getting more for less.
Uh-huh. Yes.
But you might be getting less for more.
That's the wish or the dream.
That it's more for less, but it's actually less for more. That you're getting less and providing more, because when you look up and you've been on TikTok for 3 hours, you don't even remember what happened.
Yes.
So you've actually provided more of your attention and you've retained less of the occurrence.
Uh-huh. I guess with TikTok, there are gems in there. It isn't just like fluff.
No, I know, but the thing you're addicted to is actually hunting for those.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're there forever.
Which is not healthy.
Yeah, you're just there forever, right?
Yes.
Click on one more. Let's go to the top right. It's another one of her videos. Creepy videos in the making. Yeah, play that. There's probably music if it was on TikTok.
Yeah. Oh. So it's a girl sleeping on a pillow, and it's a vertical. And someone's pulling her hair.
All right. Yeah, I'm good.
That's
I'm
well,
good.
this one didn't do too well.
Well, but that's a weird thing. They get picked up by the new YouTube Shorts algorithm and then just explode. There was a clip that we talked about the other day, which was the Jeep logo getting cut out. I think it's at like 15 million views now. And it was uploaded days before, but like the Shorts thing just boosted. Look it up, just so I'm not crazy. Just put Jeep logo. That's it. Try that. Oh, God. Come on. Really? This is where I do Jeep steering wheel. I'm going to die. I'm dead. This is not possible.
What were we looking at?
It had
What
a
were you
billion
talking
views. The guy takes the knife and cuts out the center of the steering wheel. It was on trending not even that long ago. Oh, God. Stop killing me. Wait a sec. What if everyone's on this ride now and there's no way out of it? We can't exit yet. We can't leave it here, man. This was just in trending. Why can't I remember the damn name of it? We need like the historical trending page.
How do you get to Shorts?
You don't get to Shorts. Shorts
get to me.
Shorts gets to you. That's right. Finally, you're getting the hang of this, Will.
Yeah, this whole internet thing.
You don't get to Shorts. Shorts gets to you. Less is more, except when more is less. I just saw this thing still in trending. I need like the extended trending. Oh, recently trending. I may be in the right. I may be in the wheelhouse. Hold up. Don't go anywhere. Oh, no, I'm dead. I died. Anyway, so they'll just decide to push a particular Shorts clip. They want the Shorts crowd. They can't ignore it, man. People got addicted to TikTok. They can't ignore it. They want you addicted to YouTube Shorts, okay? So whatever. It's there, and we'll keep bringing that content to you when it hits the trending page. We'll make sure you don't miss a beat and you know exactly what's going on with the correct amount of time to process it, think about it, discuss it. Oh, you have an actual decent TikTok clip. That's your
Speaking of short videos,
this is your wild card.
you seem so out of it now.
I'm so upset about it all.
You seem defeated.
Yeah, I'm very upset about it.
Well,
I'm very upset about it. No, this is good. This got 40 million views. I guess this deserves 40 million views.
Woman pushes brown bear as it climbs over fence to save her dogs. So this was a TikTok clip, and this woman is a 17-year-old girl who defends her dogs from a pack of bears.
Well, one bear with her
bear
cubs, yeah.
and the cubs. And just let me play like a short bit.
Does it have music or no?
It has the Oh No song.
Oh, God, of course it does.
Yeah. But I mean,
So bear approaches and is up on a fence line. It does smack the one black dog. I mean, this woman has 78 dogs as well.
yeah, this happened in California at a residence, just like a regular suburb. And the bear was just literally on the fence or a cement wall. And these dogs try to get at it. And it was just like a scramble of 4 or 5 dogs. And the bear took a swipe at one of the dogs. And that's when the girl comes in.
Oh, I thought there was another part where the dog... Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, the cubs go back to the tree.
The cubs, yeah, they run away. But the mama bear's still on the wall. And then this lady just like defends her dog by pushing the bear off the wall onto the other side. And then the bear, I guess, got spooked and just ran away.
It's interesting how the dogs just immediately go into attack mode, even those little ones. Like, it's a bear.
Yeah.
It's little tiny...
Yeah. I mean, this is I'm guessing this is a rare occasion.
Sure.
But just the fact that this video camera just got a perfect shot of everything.
Yeah. You're right. It covered the whole experience. It's a security camera, by the way.
Yeah.
You can see it's in landscape, not portrait. And the individual at the time wasn't thinking about the camera at all.
No.
She must have went in after rescuing the dogs from the bear and then been like, oh, I have a security camera. Let me go check for this amazing clip. I mean, the bear doesn't look like it's trying to damage anything. It looks like it's actually just trying to pass through, which is equally concerning that a bear and two cubs have found itself trying to scale this fence here. Like
in the suburbs.
we're in the broad daylight. Where are they trying to go? And likely the bear is just terrified in that situation with the cubs as well.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it was trying to kill the dogs, but I'm sure it would. I mean, it's a bear after all. But big time views, many, many millions of views. But then why doesn't this go on shorts and why isn't that on the... And then anyway.
Yeah.
Ah!